Amang lasa't hagod sa presyong kayang-kaya. Gin Kapitan, kayang-kaya.
24 hours ang germ protection ng Shield Bath Soap. Shield Bath Soap. 24 hours ang germ protection ng Shield Bath Soap. Shield Bath Soap.
Protektahan ang kalusugan ng pamilya. Mag-Shield Bath Soap regularly. Kills 99.9% ng germs at recommended pa ng Philippine Nurses Association.
Ang Shield Bath Soap. Shield Bath Soap.
Shield. Galit sa sakit, may malasakit. Shield Bath Soap. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Bayanihan laban sa COVID-19. DZXL 558 Radyo Trabaho. Special coverage.
Good afternoon, John. So, let's go right in to our interview with you. So, kailan niyo po nalaman na COVID-19 positive kayo? Nakitaan po ba kayo ng mga sintomas? So, kailan niyo po nalaman na COVID-19 positive kayo? Nakitaan po ba kayo ng mga sintomas? Paano ba siya na-transmit sa inyo at ano yung unang yung ginawa nung nalaman?
Well, as you mentioned kanina, Doc, I was watching over my father in the hospital for about 8 days. So kasama ko siya sa room and kami lang dalawa yung naka-isolate sa room. I already had an idea that I might have it in spite of, being careful kasi maliit lang yung room sa hospital and there's no ventilation. So, being an airborne virus, it was likely na I would get it. But I really found out na actually sakto lang that I got the symptoms and I got the result of my swab test 3 days after I got that swab test. So I knew officially na I had COVID-19 3 days after that swab test. But already, as soon as we got out of the hospital, I started having self-isolation in my room, even if I haven't had my swab test result pa.
Oh, you're very, very cautious, no? So I know you had to take care of your dad in the hospital, but even so, you said, no, because there was poor ventilation, and this is the reason why we always tell our viewers and the public, no, na mahalaga po yung air circulation, no? Kahit nakamask tayo. John?
Yes, Doc, that is so true. Actually, my father is a pulmonologist, so ito talaga yung focus niya, which is from the very beginning. Interestingly, aside from my father, my uncle was one of the very first cases in Cebu.
Mm-hmm.
So my father handling my uncle's case, parang, I like all doctors, he was scared kasi it's something novel, you don't know how to handle it. But eventually, through all the patients he's been treating and his experience with himself getting COVID-19, we officially concluded it's not surface transmission. It's largely airborne transmission yung virus. So yung nangyari sa amin, kahit nakamask ako, kahit I don't touch my father's food or whatever, pero being in one room and close, walang ventilation, kahit nakamask ako, I was likely to get it pa rin. And also, ito pala, I'd like to insert that it's not just about wearing masks, it's also wearing the correct type of mask. I noticed kasi na ang daming tao nakamask na, naka-valve or may butas yung mask. So it defeats the whole purpose of the mask filtering the virus, di ba? So that's one thing na kami sa family, we're very vigilant about it.
Very true, no? So, apart from those who don't wear their mask properly, nandito sa baba or naka-expose yung ilong, no? Importante din, no, na dapat wala pong valve yung mask, no?
Yes.
So, they have a different purpose po yung may valve na mask, pero for this particular COVID pandemic, hindi po siya yung kinakailangan na.
Yeah, I think what people don't understand, Doc, is hindi kasi they say kasi na but the valve filters. So the truth is it filters yung air papasok but hindi yung palabas. So people don't know that and they think na they're protecting themselves pero sometimes they don't realize kung sila yung may carrier ng virus, they're still spreading it.
True, very true, John. So I also wanted to ask you, no? So how has it been the process while you were isolating? What did you have to do para you won't get bored or you won't feel lonely because you were alone?
It was very difficult, Doc, to be honest. I mean, it would have been fine if asymptomatic ako and I would feel fine. I would social media, Netflix or whatever. Pero I was sick and I did not feel good at all. Kahit gusto ko mag-social media to connect with my friends, I felt like I didn't want to do anything. So I think for those who are also going through the process of healing, don't feel pressured to do something while you're isolated. Ang dami kasing I would say psychological pressure na oh, I have 14 days of free time. That's what some people might think, no? Na kailangan may productivity ako within those 14 days. So in my case, I had to let go of that productivity mindset because you know, being working in business, lagi akong I have something to do. And here the 14 days na isolated ako, I didn't do anything. And so yeah, I just rested. I prayed. A lot of it was prayer. Unlike no matter how much you know about the virus and the process, malaking tulong pa rin na you give it up all to him and he takes care of you.
I completely agree with you. So I guess to our viewers, now what we're seeing here is that we are also looking at a holistic way of healing, right? It's not just healing physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. No, after all, when we talk about health, or even when WHO describes what health is, kasama po yun lahat. No, it
Yeah.
can't be one over the other. So, John, can you also let us know, no? So, how were you being taken care of in the facility? So, nakakatakot ba yung facility or did you actually feel at home? Were there some healthcare providers who were seeing you, etc.?
Well, I was isolated at home in my room, and my father's setup was yung electric fan ko kailangan naka-point sa window. And then so every time the door of my room opens up, yung air dapat negative yung pressure. So papasok yung air from inside the house into my room instead of out from my room to the house. So yan, ganyan, super strict kami there. Second was nobody was allowed to go inside my room and I was absolutely not allowed to go outside. So absolute rule yan, walang exceptions. And so fortunately, my CR naman sa room ko, so that helped a lot as well, no? Third, yung pagkain ko, they leave the food outside my door, and then after a few minutes, doon ako lalabas and get my food. So that's how it worked. Vitals naman, I had to take my own vitals, and I sent it via Viber. Thankfully, I think, you know, this time in pandemic, we're so lucky to have internet technology. Can you imagine what kind of pandemic we would go through pag wala tayong internet to handle all these things? So, lahat ng mga medical explanations, yung mga treatment and list of things that I need to be done, it was given through Viber. My group chat kami with my sister. My elder sister, she's a surgeon in Manila right now. And my elder brother is going to go to pulmo training as well. And so my father, so sila tatlong doctor were watching over me and making sure that everything was okay. And of course, I think medyo underrated to, oximeter. I always had an oximeter. Asthmatic kasi ako, so that one of the things that really hit me during the process was my oxygen. It actually dropped, but not severely, pero it dropped. So nakakatulong yung oximeter to keep track of my progress. And ayan, basta everything was done inside my room. Wala talagang anything outside.
To our listeners, I think it's important for us to take note of how yung scientific part, scientific basis of all the interventions na ginagawa po natin to protect ourselves from COVID, ginawa po nila John and his family in a very practical manner, di ba? But what this is also telling us is kaya po talaga may mga isolation facilities because if hindi natin kaya gawin tong setup na to, we would really risk our household members to have or possibly have COVID, di ba? But if we can have this setup, swerte nga si John, sabi niya, there's a room and there's his own bathroom, restroom inside his own room, then he didn't have to interact much with his family. No. All right. Thank you, John, for that. Talagang team effort, no? Entire family yung magkakasama. So, Perhaps in our last question for you would be, what would be your message, no? Ano yung mensahe mo that you want to let everyone know while we're still in this pandemic? Syempre, no, a lot of people are saying, kailan ba ito matatapos, etc., no? Having been a survivor, what is your message to everyone?
I three things actually, Doc. First is I hope everyone will take the time to educate themselves about the virus. And I'm not saying educate na yung mga conspiracy videos and all those yung mga fake news. No, we have to be vigilant about those kinds of information. Talk to somebody who's a professional. Talk to a doctor. Talk to a healthcare worker. Because ang laking tulong sa akin that I knew exactly what I needed to do to prevent the spread in my own family. Lalo na senior na mom ko. And, we don't want those things happening na you sabay-sabay kayo lahat na infect. And a lot of people who I talked to, kasi when they found out I had COVID, throughout the next months, I would talk to several people who are going through it. And I would advise them. And I found out na they don't know much about the virus. In spite of everything that's on the media, there seems to be a misinformation of how the virus works. Ang dami pa rin about the hand sanitizer and hand washing, pero wala masyado sa airborne transmission aspect. So, educate yourself. Second is don't be complacent. I know medyo burnt out na tayo from the long lockdowns, from all these mga protocols. It's tiring. It really is, and it's affecting us mentally, physically. But we have to hold on, and we have to still be vigilant. I mean, it's not just a matter of making a mistake, and it's easy to fix that mistake. It could be a matter of life and death for your family members. So be vigilant. Don't be complacent. Kasi if the moment you have symptoms, there are free testing centers. Get yourself tested. Don't guess. Don't make it a guessing game kung may COVID ka ba or wala. First is nakakatulong sa inyo because you would know if you build the antibodies. Second is if the moment that you know you're positive, syempre you'll become more considerate to reach out to the people you've been in contact with so that you will help with the contact tracing process. This is how we can slow down the transmission. So don't be complacent, be vigilant, and be considerate. And the last thing po is I would say, let's hold on to hope. I know the vaccines are coming. I know DOH is working on getting that done. But I also know that this is not just going to be a DOH and government effort. I think everyone is going to be working hand in hand to finally end this pandemic. So let's hold on to that hope. And if you're hopeful, you'll always have that drive na to not just think about, the things that make you happy, but you're also hopeful for the happiness of other people. And para sa akin, it's all about consideration. If you stop thinking just for yourself and you start thinking about the people around you, then everything falls into place. So hold on to that hope. We're almost there. We are almost there.
Thank you so much, John. That's really an inspiring message, no? So huwag natin kalimutan, study what we can, alamin lang ang totoong impormasyon. Don't be complacent. The virus is lurking, no? So kung may moment of weakness tayo, pwede siyang dumating. And finally, let's really be hopeful, no? And sabi nga ni John, let us know and always appreciate that what we're doing is not just for ourselves, but for the people around us. Thank you very much for the energy and the inspiration that you've willingly shared with us, John, this afternoon. Maraming salamat. And we're very happy that you're recovered fully already, and sana through your advocacy and your sharing bilang sa amin today and to the many friends that you've been telling us about, sana marami ka pang continuously na natutulungan. So thank you very much, Mr. John Mendoza.
Thank you po, Doc.
Sa amin po, yes, thank you. Sa amin pong mga manonood, nais po naming ipaalala sa inyo na kung tayo po ay nakaramdam ng mga flu-like symptoms, tayo po ay magpa-test, no? Gaya ng sinabi ni Mr. John. Hindi na tayo dapat makahawa sa ibang tao kung sakali pong tayo ay may COVID-19. Ang isolation po ay aabot ng 10 days. Pagkatapos po nating sumunod sa isolation protocol, at ang kasabay na pag-improve ng ating pakiramdam at pagkawala ng sintomas, tayo ay maaari na pong matag as recovered matapos na tayo ma-assess ng isang healthcare provider. Hindi na po kailangan ng repeat testing. Kung tayo naman po ay magkakaroon ng mga sintomas na hawig sa COVID-19 o kaya naman ay magkaroon ng close contact with a positive, suspected, or probable COVID-19 patient, huwag po tayong mag-atubiling humingi ng tulong. Nandiyan po ang ating mga healthcare providers at experts na maaari po nating makausap through telemedicine or make sure that we coordinate with the BERTS or Barangay Health Emergency Response Team upang tulungan tayong makakuha ng tamang impormasyon. Nais po naming mag-iwan ng importanteng paalala sa ating public. B, bawal walang mask. Sabi nga ni John, wear the correct mask. I, isanitize yung mga kamay natin. Pero, mas importante din po is dapat umiwas po tayo sa matataong lugar. No? At D, dumistansya tayo and to make sure po na yung pinupuntahan po natin may adequate air circulation. At A, alamin ang tamang impormasyon. At syempre, dahil Bida Solution Plus na tayo, ang plus ay dapat suportahan natin any FDA-approved na bakuna. Tandaan, we can all be the solution and together we can all beat COVID-19. Thank you very much po.